Always great to get to talk to Hilton Head Island's Director of Emergency Management, Tom Dunn, when there's not an emergency. The busiest guy on the island during hurricane season. You get to take a little bit of a breath this time of the year, don't you?
A little bit. We're still already beginning to plan for next year.
I'll bet you are. I want to ask you a question about that in a moment, but let's first talk about managing winters on the island. It was 2 years ago this very week that we got a snowstorm. I mean, not anything any of us who've come from the north have worried about too much, but it did kind of create a little havoc around the island, didn't it?
It did, to the point where we actually opened our emergency operations center for that small winter weather.
There's nothing there's any notes you took, anything you filed away in case it happens again in our lifetimes?
Absolutely. With every event that we do an after-action report. So we found some nuggets and things that we can do better, and which actually help us during hurricane response as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into hurricane response in a moment, as I mentioned. Let's talk about winters on the island, though. We do get some freezes, and that's probably the one thing we probably need to concern ourselves more than anything is the possibility of some frozen pipes.
Absolutely, we do get, surprisingly, a lot of people don't realize we do get winter weather. We do have those occasional freezes. You know, even this morning, a little bit of frost on the windshield. So yes, to your point is those frozen pipes and just planning like you would for any hazard. We recommend with winter weather as well.
Yeah, let me ask you about this. A lot of folks on the island. I had a house where our piping was not underground; it was up in the attics areas, and where air flows pretty freely through there. Do we need to be concerned and be wrapping pipes and all of that, or is the air temperature on one bad night enough to really cause any kind of an issue?
To be safe, yes. If you have open or exposed pipes, you definitely want to insulate those pipes or get them covered. Or, you know, if you don't have that ability, you know, if it's going to drop really cold temperatures, you're going to get to freezing. You know, consider dripping one of your faucets in the house to keep that water moving continuously.
Yeah, and pipes outside probably. The faucets outside, because a lot of us have sprinklers. It probably is more of a concern.
Absolutely. Your faucets outside or your spigots outside, you definitely want to cover those up. And if you have exposed pipe outside, you want to also insulate those as well to keep them from breaking.
All right. Anything else about winter weather we need to discuss?
Well, we'd just like to recommend folks that, you know, we recommend all hazards planning. So planning for any type of hazard. So by planning for all hazards, you're prepared for that winter hazard as well.
Yeah. All right. Now let's get a quick head start on hurricane season. Have you heard anything? Any of the forecasters out yet, or are we way too early for that?
Way too early for that. They usually come out in April or late May. Late May.
Where's El Nino these days? I think you probably do keep track of that.
I don't necessarily track the El Nino or the La Nina so much. I more look at what the Hurricane Center is, what they're talking about in general terms of the weather and what their forecasts are, and really what their new products are, how they've improved, and the information they're providing us can continuously get better. Yeah.
Is there anything to report after this past season that where you've seen, ooh, this is going to be a new toy that we're going to be able to use?
Interestingly, the last year there was not a lot of new products from the Hurricane Center, but as with each year, their accuracy continues to get better. If you look historically at the error cone, 15 years ago that cone was much wider. Now that cone is beginning to tighten down because their forecasting has gotten so much better.
All right, that's good to know. And of course for Dorian, it was pretty much right on. It kept it off the coast, and things worked very well.
Absolutely.
Tom, good to see you. Take care of yourself and your family as we get through the spring, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you come April and May and we start getting those forecasts. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Emergency Management Director Tom Dunn of Hilton Head's Town of.